Guys, can y'all hear me and see me?
Gotcha.
All right, we got Coach Pearl on. As always, please make sure to leave a question in the chat if you have one. We'll go ahead and get started with Coach Pearl.
Hey guys, obviously we're trying to give you a little background here because we're in beautiful Southwest Florida. Just not sure if because of the light you guys can actually see my face, or if I need to move in a certain way. This is sort of a testing the technology. Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah, we can see you just fine.
Is there a way?
I know it's not a pretty sight, but I want you to be able to.
Is there a way you could switch?
We good?
You could face the light.
All right, let me start off by completely throwing Cody under the bus and saying that I've been sitting here for 12 minutes waiting to get started. I don't like to keep you guys waiting, so now that we get that out of the way, let me address Sharif Cooper for a second because I really can't take any questions on it because I can't provide any more information. His initial eligibility review is ongoing, and we are hopeful to have a resolution as soon as possible. We are working with the NCAA to help resolve it, and he did not make the trip. So that is his status right now. And aside from that, let me talk a little bit about getting started with our season. Normally by now we will have played a couple of games. By now we would have had at least one exhibition game. We would have had, if we didn't have two exhibition games, then we would have had a practice game against another opponent in a private scrimmage. And so this would be, let's just say our third contest. That's just not the case. And so when you've got a brand new team, and I don't think Auburn has had a team that's lost its entire starting five since 1950. It just tells you how sort of unprecedented this is. This is really, truly going to be a new experience. If you look back at my press conferences leading up into seasons, and you would ask me the questions, what do you want to learn? The bottom line is I want to get exposed and see what we have and see what our strengths are, see what our weaknesses are, evaluate them, make the adjustments that are necessary to improve and go from there. Well, we don't have, if we started playing those exhibition games a month ago or 3 weeks ago, then we would have had that opportunity. Now, look, everybody's in the same boat. And so it's going to be really important that we're in a position where we can, learn on the fly. Let me start off with St. Joe. This is a team that returns about 75% of their scoring from a year ago. They remind me a little bit a year ago of where we are right now in the sense that Billy Lang was taking over. This is a dynamic young coach who has got great experience in the NBA. He comes out of the 76ers organization. He's a former Villanova assistant coach. Just an incredible pedigree. It's been fun to study them a little bit based on what they did last year. The stuff they run is hard to guard. It's well thought out. They shot the third most threes in all of college basketball this year. Why does that surprise you? Being a sort of a Jay Wright disciple. Don't forget, Jay Wright's national championship Villanova team made the most threes in the history of college basketball at 464. And then a year later, our basketball team made 454 of them on the way to the Final Four. So obviously stopping three ball is important. Ryan Daly is a great player and an impossible timeout. A really tough matchup. A big, strong, physical senior guard that can score from the perimeter. He can get downhill. He can score through contact. He averaged 21 points a game, and he knows how to play. He knows how to get guys open. He understands that offense. So if you do this to him, he'll do that. And if you do that to him, he'll do this. He's got great experience. So our young guards are going to have, their hands full with him. So And then we got a very quick turnaround. One of the quickest turnarounds I think, you could almost have from the standpoint of we'll be done with our game at about 5:30 Central Time on Thanksgiving Day. And then we will tip at 10 Central against Gonzaga the very next morning. Again, it's not ideal, but I think the opportunity to play such a great field in St. Joe and then Gonzaga, and getting a chance to get that exposure that you really want, it was worth it. Yes, we're placing our kids in some competitive disadvantages, but I think that's what we kind of find ourselves right now as a team, as in a competitive disadvantage, and that's okay. That's something that we look forward to the opportunity of working through. Last thing I'll say is this: thanks to everybody for all the work and effort back at Auburn, with the NCAA and the people in the world of college basketball, the media, the organizers for this event. Man, those guys have really worked really hard to get college basketball started in this very, very difficult, challenging time. We're all listening to the news about not traveling, for Thanksgiving, and here we are having traveled to play college basketball. And I'm happy for the kids. So if I would have you go anywhere with it, our kids are excited about playing. Think about the fact that at Auburn, we haven't had a positive COVID test with our players since July 4th now. You could do all the right things and still get this terrible virus because of how contagious it is. But just think of the sacrifices and the discipline that our players have shown by not putting themselves in to contact the virus. I think it also speaks to the students at Auburn and the people on our campus at Auburn that have worked really diligently to keep each other safe. And so I'm excited for all the kids in college basketball right now, being able to get started and do the thing that they love to do.
All right, BP, our first question comes from Mark Murphy.
Could you talk about the rotation at point guard for the first couple games?
Say that again, Murph.
The point guard rotation. Who's going to play point guard for you in the rotation?
Okay, I heard point guard, so I think you want me to talk about the point guard rotation. Okay. We really set the table, obviously having had Jared Harper a couple years ago. Probably thought Jared would be back for his senior year, but he wasn't. But we had Javon McCormick ready to go. So we had a senior there. And of course, Samir Dowdy played the position last year. So I don't return anybody that played any point guard for us last year. And then really, truly, the two guys that are going to get the majority of the position are going to be Justin Powell and Tyrell Jones. And I would consider them both to be more combo guards. I know back in the day, they were guards were guards. For me, things have changed a little. I've always sort of played a point guard and then played some guys off the ball. We are blessed the fact that both of these guys can play the position. And believe it or not, we've even worked Alan Flanagan at times at the position. So we've rotated those three guys over the last several weeks. And those are going to be the guys that are going to be out there on the floor for us.
Our next question comes from Brian Matthews.
Yes, Bruce, thank you for speaking to us. How has the team sort of reacted and handled the decision to cancel the postseason for this year?
Okay, Brian, I apologize. It's not about my hearing. It's just the internet is broken up, and I'm catching about every other word. I hope you guys are catching my words. Okay.
I'll try again. How are the players handling y'all taking away the postseason, canceling it?
I'll tell you what. Maybe you could text Cody the question because we're getting one or two words on the feedback. I'm sorry.
How are the players handling the postseason cancel? How are they cancel the postseason?
That was it's been a really difficult time. And it was a difficult few weeks leading up to the announcement because it's obviously something that we had talked about. And if there was any comfort, it was their reaction. I got more guys coming up to me, hugging me, because I feel terrible for them. I mean, but we kept some things in perspective and we reminded ourselves, look, I asked the question beforehand, what did you come here to Auburn for? And I got a lot of answers about graduating, being an Auburn man, and get better and maybe have a chance to play professionally. And I want to be part of the Auburn family and, you know, all those things. And I was then able to say, right before I gave them the information, that they're still going to be able to accomplish almost all of those things. No, this year we're not going to be able to compete in postseason. You know, a couple of years ago, after we won the regular season, postseason was only a couple games. And so, without minimizing it, because it's important and it's what we all work and strive for, I just try to keep their focus on what they're trying to get accomplished and why they're at Auburn as student athletes. And all I can just tell you is, it was amazing the response of my players and my parents. How we're going to get through this together.
Question from Nathan King is, how long before the postseason announcement were players made aware of the decision?
We made them aware as we were announcing it. It just felt like it was something that the university wanted to get out in front of. And I was telling the players as it was being announced, and had a Zoom call set up with my parents for as soon as I finished up with my players. So they probably had heard something about it, but they knew they had a call from me. And so when they saw it, I'm sure they realized that this is what the call was about. So that was what the timing was. So it all pretty much took place on Sunday afternoon.
Couple of questions from Mark Murphy. Who will be the starters, and is the team healthy heading into the game?
Well, Murph, I've already basically told St. Joe's who our point guards are going to be. And I'm probably going to get a call from Coach Malzahn saying, BP, I mean, if I got three quarterbacks, I'm not telling Alabama who's playing. And that's where Gus is probably smarter than I am on that one. So I'll probably hold off on that. But let me just say this. I think our great strength this year is our depth. I will say that I would expect that we're going to play 10 guys on both games, because I do think it's a process. It's a process of seeing what we have and, you know, getting an opportunity to let these guys get out there and play. You know, I think a lot of our decisions, even in the recruiting process, were based on a foundation, in the sense that you know, we have held one scholarship. But I just felt like, because I had recruited 5 really good freshmen, and I had 7 players returning. We didn't get into the transfer market very much, because I just felt like these guys had earned the opportunity to be able to play. And now, little did I know that every transfer in the country that would be appealing for eligibility, virtually everyone would gain their eligibility, and there wouldn't be anybody sitting out. But I just felt like it was more out of loyalty to my roster, that I felt like they'd all put themselves in position to be on the floor this year.
Question from Tom Green. With the postseason band and a young, inexperienced value is there now in not having non-conference games against teams like Gonzaga and Baylor?
Well, you know, Tom, there's great value, and even St. Joe, because of the way they play, and look, I would anticipate they're going to have a really good year in the Atlantic 10. The Atlantic 10's stronger than ever, but I think St. Joe's going to make some noise this year. So I would, you know, include them, and and also going up to play Central Florida. So there is great value in playing these teams. But certainly, I think the message in taking the Gonzaga game and getting Baylor is that this is where we see our program. We'll see our program. And so we're going to go anywhere, play anybody. We always have. I just don't believe in waiting until your roster is right and ready to go get that schedule. We've done it since I got here, and we will continue to. So, there's going to be an awful lot to learn.
Okay, next question is from Josh Vitale. Coach, you said in your statement that Auburn had. Do you think that the self-imposed punishment will put the situation behind Auburn?
No, I don't. But I do think it's another step taken that I just think is the right thing to do. We got to continue to work through the process.
And then lastly, from Justin Lee, for clarity purposes, the players were made aware the postseason ban was a possibility in the week.
No, we made the players aware on Sunday. That was something that wasn't something that was discussed with the players. It was certainly discussed with our staff, with university administration. But I think sometimes, even as the kids always talk about it being a family atmosphere, and Auburn fan. The adults have to make some of those decisions, or the father has to make some of those decisions, and it was really difficult. So obviously you can look at we obviously felt like that was something that was a possibility in the future for us, and so if feeling that was a possibility, we took these steps to get out ahead of it.
Lastly, Coach, from Brian Matthews, do you have a team this season as opposed to last?
Yeah, Brian, I think so. But I guess we won't know until we get out there. I've always believed in philosophically in that. It's just that last year we had some guys that were pretty good from 2, and the year before we were brilliant from 3. So, but I think this will be a team where I will have 4 and sometimes 5 guys on the floor that can shoot the 3. And so that would mean that, you're going to need to guard us there. Whether or not we can make them or not, that's the next question. But I'm certain we're going to be taking them.
Okay, thank you, BP.
Thank you, guys.